world's first universal can cooler. Like, it's worked from the time that we started even to today. We're number 2 in Kitchen on TikTok Shop. It's crazy because like we were above Ninja, Scrub Daddy, brands that I was like, we should not be above these brands. I don't do trends. I hate trends. You will very, very rarely see me do a trend. I'm a big proponent of like, we're unique and consistent with our content. Like, people know what type of videos I'm posting. When they're scrolling and they see me, like, they know what it's going to be about. From March to May, we went from 100K a month to 900,000 a month. And then in June, we did 1.2 million. And then it never stopped. 1 million to 11 million. And then the next year we went to 18 million. And then last year was 21 million. This year will be probably 30.
We grip it and rip it here on the DTC Podcast, and I'm here live with Brock Mammoser. Did I say your last name right? That's right. I have a tricky last.
Mammoser.
Mammoser. That's right. You put emphasis on the syllable.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, I'm Eric Dick, if you were wondering. I always have to, it gets ambiguous with my name as well. But we were just recounting how we were introduced. It was another Carly introduction. If you're a longtime listener to the podcast, you know that we have a big thanks for Carly for her intros. We got Brock coming out to C-Suite Mastermind September 18th to 19th. Super excited to have him there. But this is just sort of our intro kickoff call. So like, why don't you give me the Frost Buddy story? I want to hear it.
Oh man, it's been a while since I told it, like last week. So yeah, pretty. I think interesting story for most. Around 4 years ago, my brother Mitch and I just started kind of with an idea for a slim can cooler. And neither of us ran online businesses or knew anything about running an online business. And we had the idea, and I had done other businesses in college. I was still at Indiana University pole vaulting at the time. And he was selling insurance for State Farm. And we were just Christmas break that he's like, is there a slim Yeti? Is essentially what he said. And at the time there was not. Now obviously Yeti has one.
And slim drinks are taken over. Everyone's drinking slim drinks.
Correct. Since I was in Indiana, I was like, dude, White Claws are like everything. I was like, White Claw and Truly. That's all anyone talks about. Like, no one's drinking a normal can. So we were like, you know what? I knew how to source from Alibaba. So I went to Alibaba, typed in slim can cooler, found a supplier. And I think that's where most people ask, like, okay, how'd you do that? Well, I just knew how to do that part. And I don't think that part's rocket science. It's more so just like persistence of just like making sure that they'll actually reach back out. And so, yeah, we started with that. We ordered 500 units, came upon the name Frost Buddy, started a website through Shopify, and the rest is history. Really, we started dabbling in Facebook ads, Google ads. 3 months in, I had sold 0 online. All the Facebook ads were just burning cash because I didn't know what I was doing. And that's when I actually got two liquor store chains to basically buy all the slims. So it was just retail, even though we had no labels, no UPCs, but that's a whole nother story. We did it anyway. And that's when we thought of the idea. We're like, you know what? What if we just put all these together? Like, what if there's one that just fits everything? Because then, like, that's what they're like, oh, if it fits 16-ounce cans, or if it fit this, like, then I'd switch from Brewmate or Yeti or whoever they might be with. And we're like, oh, it's kind of a good idea. And so I hadn't seen it. So we came out with this, what I called the Universal, which looking back was like the greatest name I could have ever thrown out there when we were just hanging out in the living room. And we launched that with a simple video ad, and we ordered 3,000, just black, white, and stainless steel, and sold out in like 3 weeks. All Facebook ads, all online. I was seeing like 8X on there.
Wow.
And this is 2020. So this is, in the heat of COVID, really, which probably helped us, to be honest, because people were at home shopping online. Now that we know there was a huge bubble, we didn't know that at the time. And just drinking in general. I think during that time, they're stressed.
Doubling down.
And all of that. So sold out real quick. And then we just turned it. We just turned the inventory, and we just went from 3,000 to 8,000. And then expanded colors because that's what people wanted. And it was listening to comments, and basically went from 8,000 to 20,000 to then 40,000, and just kept turning the inventory because we're like, well, I'm still in school. I still had 2 years left. I didn't know that at the time. And Mitch was still selling insurance. So yeah, we turned it, and about a year in is when we thought of our 2.0 version, which is what people see today. So it fits in cup holders, and now it fits the 16-ounce cans. And that was what we were able to patent because we had a lot of knockoffs come. And that's when we we were doing like 100K a month at that time, and probably not that profitable. I don't even know what our numbers were. But
real Chad media buying though. It was real. It was just,
it was just straight. Like I was like, you know what? We're doing Facebook ads, and I'm at like 2.5x. I must be making money. And
Perfect.
we had nothing, and we launched this 2.0, and it was kind of like everything had just been building up to that point. Was like, oh, we kind of know what we're doing now. We definitely didn't. And from March to May, we went from 100K a month to 900,000 a month. And then in June, we did 1.2 million. And then it never stopped. And so we went from 1 million to 11 million. And then the next year we went to 18 million. And then last year was 21 million. This year will be probably 30. And so obviously that's a very brief story of that, but that's how we hit our hero product. And then we've just continued to try and create this authentic, small town, genuine, personal brand around it with unique products that solve problems. Like that's really the gist of it.
Yeah. I guess it's patented, but how does a universal can holder work? Like I don't have one here. How does it not rattle around in there if it's all thin? Because it fits into something on the bottom. It fits into like a notch on the bottom.
Yeah, I actually have. If you can give me a second, can you give me a second to go grab it?
We would do a YouTube product demo. If you're listening to this podcast, now is the time to switch over to YouTube, because Brock is about to demonstrate the Universal Frost Buddy, or the Mark II.
You like my work outfit?
Yeah, mine too.
All right, so this is the magic, right? So this is the insert that we have, and basically this is the utility patent and the design patent. And so that goes in there. And so you get it like this, and it's just simple. And this is we just launched all of our like colleges, and NHL and MLB is coming soon. So that's a whole nother world, but it looks like that. And so basically you can put your normal can in there and it stops. And then you can put your slim can in there and it slides all the way through the bottom. Well, this silicone lid basically keeps everything
from
rattling, keeps it locked in. And it also allows us to fit multiple different tops. And so like your bottle, your Smirnoff bottle, or really any beer bottle, anything like that will fit. Stubby bottles will actually fit too. And then, what I had in there was a ghost. So you remove this, and then now the whole thing will fit your 16
it's all boys.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then now you can remove that, and we have a coffee lid, we have a cocktail shaker lid, a protein lid. There's a lot of other functions than just a can cooler now. And then it's double wall insulated, just like everyone else. Even without this in there, it's still double wall insulated. And so this is just extra. That doesn't really matter. It's just to fit everything. And
you mentioned IP.
Yeah,
you mentioned the IP there. Are you just like what like the tens of millions and the close to 30 million you do this year? Is that pre getting heavy into other people's IP? Like what was on the cans for your first 3 years?
Literally normal colors. Like this is our Nebula.
Yeah.
This is Matcha. Our American flags are our best sellers in the can cooler, just because that's like the demographic. Like where we're from, 3,000 people, farm town, Illinois. Like we know our demographic, and everyone will buy something with flag on it. Especially election year too. Like that's been great. So our best seller this year has been like it's called our gunmetal flag, gunmetal glory, but it's kind of like a grayed out flag on a black can cooler. So it's kind of like discreet in a way, but still it looks cool.
Discreet, but still packing heat.
Exactly. So exactly. So we have, at any given time, we have like 30 colors of the Universal, and then of the other products, we rock around like 15 to 20. So that's really aside from the licensing, all the growth.
And so there's huge, sky's the limit in college. I just saw a tweet referencing all the different schools you have involved. So the college football season this year is going to be insane.
Yeah. So that's really just a different, and I honestly, we tried to do it early on, and I'm glad we didn't. I'm glad we got denied by all of them, because we honestly weren't ready, and it probably would have been a terrible idea not having the customer base that we had and just everything else, because it is expensive. And the royalties are expensive, and what's good now is it provides a nice moat around the brand. It's also reaching a lot of new people because now it's like, okay, I'm also hitting an Alabama fan that maybe wasn't a Frost Buddy fan, but now they are a Frost Buddy fan. But we hit them with Alabama first. And same with like NHL. Like it's reaching a lot of new people that didn't know Frost Buddy before. And it's also just exposing us to like new retailer opportunities and a lot of other opportunities. Plus it adds a ton of credibility, which is what I like to the brand.
You're telling me I can get a Vancouver Canucks Frost Buddy?
You sure can.
I need to get one of these in my life.
We just launched the entire NHL, so that it's actually going really well. Which I mean, hockey and beer, like there's
and
like
frost.
no better.
It's the iciest sport.
There's like no better combination. There's no better combination.
Has there been anything? You mentioned pole vaulting. That pole vaulting's made a bit of a splash at the Olympics this year. If you see the clip. Have you taken advantage of anything else going on with the Olympics? Have you been there?
I did. I commented on that. I was like, that's the problem I had in pole vault too. That's the same problem. I hate that. It's actually funny. I jumped against the guy that just won and set the world record. I jumped against him in college.
Oh, nice.
So it was cool to see because like I knew him, and he was at several of our meets, and he's a great guy.
How is running a business like pole vaulting is the scariest sport I feel like you can play. You have to commit to the process so much while you're getting torqued up by this giant thing there. I bet it is like running a business and you just have to really commit.
I think just like Division I athletics in general and just high level athletics there's so many similarities to business. And I actually sat down when I was finishing up college and just I'm like, hey, how did I get better in athletics? Okay, now what can I transition to business? Like, what are those same characteristics, same values, same processes that I can lean upon? Because there's a lot. I mean, it's your life, right? Like from eating, sleeping, water, recovery, like everything just revolved around pole vaulting. And so
discipline.
Yeah.
It's a level of personal discipline. It's funny. The CEO of Pilot House, we used to talk about, that's one of the things he looks for when people have high level athletic experience. It's definitely something that stands out to people that are hiring because they know it takes a lot of sacrifice and discipline and all of that.
And it's all on, and for track, especially, like it's all on you. Like I don't have a team, like it's whether you want it or not. And so that was a big thing is just really that self-discipline, and just like grinding through it and just putting your head down and going, I don't know where the goal's at, but if I do all of these things every single day, like something good will come of it. And then also having the setbacks. Like I had a lot of injuries. That also gives you that resiliency because, in business, there's a lot of shit that hits the fan. And so way more than in athletics, it's way harder to deal with, especially when it's your money and your life. A lot of similarities there, but definitely a great time to look back on for sure. And when the Olympics rolls around, like all of a sudden everyone knows what pole vault is.
Yeah, that's right. Especially this year. Target practice as well, right?
Yeah,
I saw
exactly.
we posted on Monday a good media buying meme actually about like that's the kind you were doing the media buying of the one target shooting guy that has two eyes open, one hand in his pocket, just aiming away. Talk to me about the media buying. Talk to me about like what you said. It's funny, like the product. It's product led again, right? You found you solved a real problem in a good way, and then you probably made like what were the ads like that have driven the success? Yeah.
So obviously the product helps. And I've launched products that don't do well in media buying, and it makes it extremely difficult. You're swimming upstream. So early on, I learned, at least in my media buying, and I don't do it anymore. I outsourced that very quickly. I was like, this is a lot. But I still do all the creative, like literally everything. So we realized that video worked really well for us because it's very educational. What I just showed you, like that works. We relied on that world's first headline, also just problem solution. So just different angles that we could come at it with the same product. And really like that world's first universal can cooler, like it's worked from the time that we started even to today, different types of videos. And then TikTok hit, and that's when it really changed, I think, media buying for us. Really our entire strategy is statics. We rely on for new launches, new colors, I would say more retention based. marketing more bottom funnel. But in terms of our acquisition, the entire strategy is just I post TikToks every single day, and whatever pops off, because TikTok is an interest-based platform, the audience is going to tell me which is a good video and which one sucks. We just use the viral ones for Meta. And then we just take those, boom, and we don't even make Meta specific ads anymore.
You take off the watermark. That's it, pretty much.
That's it. We just take off the watermark and we just send her right over to Meta. And then obviously now with TikTok Shop and that media buying, that's a whole nother beast of its own that's happening. And it's great. But yeah, that's pretty much how our strategy's been like since we started. And then, like I said, statics would just work for sale periods or like new colors.
I'm looking at your TikTok feed here about like, and it's a lot, it's the recent ones are you kind of in the studio even, but there's just ones like, you can just write off all your vacations. You can just write off all your vacations as marketing expenses.
I can write off everything. Yeah. And honestly, what's funny is those beach videos, all of our best videos are literally like me at the beach because of the situation of when people are using the product. And so it's like, I've made this joke. I just hired someone to start filming me pretty much all the time. And I made this joke for the next 30 days. We're just going to go to the beach every single day and just film and just see what happens. Just see if that moves the needle of Frostbuddy like exponentially more by just us just filming in the right situation every day.
What's your beach?
Well, I live in Sarasota now.
Oh, you live in Sarasota now.
I live like 2 miles from the beach. So
okay. I thought we were talking about the Heartland still.
So no, okay. It's pretty. No, I got out of the Midwest. Yeah.
Nice.
So no, I live like 2 miles away, which is really nice. Plus, honestly, for filming, I needed to be in more of a tropical, like at the pool, at the beach, like at the golf course. I have to be at places that are relevant.
And it's just you talking passionately about your product, about its functionality, how you came up with it. It's really,
there's
people
there's
overcomplicate
some more to it. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it, yes, is like literally me in my apartment, or sometimes I'll drag my brothers into it for like the sale videos and do a little skit that's so cringy, but like cringe works.
Yeah.
But yeah, lately it's since we started, since my very first viral video in college that was just in my apartment, I set up a table, set up the product, and I use comments usually. Lately, I've been getting into like POVs, like meme style of like situations, and those pop for some, I think because I'm talking to myself, they pop off like crazy. But really, yeah, that's it. Just organic, just get creative with it and just like don't ever stop. I think it's the biggest thing.
Do it every day. You're not really, it doesn't look like you're trying to jump on trends too much.
I don't do trends. I hate trends.
You don't do trends.
No,
you're not doing the coconut dance.
Nope.
You're not doing the.
You will very, very rarely see me do a trend. I do not jump on trends. Now we're also a business account, and so it's very difficult for me to jump on like trending sounds and stuff because I can't use them. Copyright. Okay. And so like I don't even mess with it. Plus, I'm a big proponent of like we're unique and consistent with our content. Like people know what type of videos I'm posting. And like they're looking for certain types of videos. Like when they're scrolling and they see me, like they know what it's going to be about. With trends, unless you can truly make it your own, I guess. But I hate getting on TikTok. So like I just don't even know trends. I'm just like we're just gonna make our videos.
Make your own trend. Make your own trends,
and that's fine. Like we're not struggling. So.
And then how much, like Meta is still the lion's share for you? Like you're making the content on TikTok, testing its virality there, moving it over to Meta. What does your Meta spend versus your Facebook spend look like?
So it was crushing TikTok, but now TikTok is storming like very quickly. And I mean, obviously, yeah, Twitter, you would think it's like doomsday on Meta, but we're still fine. For some reason, somehow I'm like, how is every single person struggling? Like someone's got to be doing okay. But let me pull it up really quickly from our last notes just to get an accurate number for you. Because yeah, last month it did TikTok. I don't know if it passed Meta, but it was really close.
Cool.
Which was, that's like, I never thought in a million years that would happen.
The rap has always been that it just doesn't scale in the same way.
Yeah. So it didn't pass it. I will say it was way more profitable, like way more. So we're looking at 150 on TikTok to 320 on Meta to 100 on Google.
but significant.
So yeah, I mean now, and let me just say that was July, right? In June, TikTok was 20.
Wow.
We spent 20. So it went from 20 to 150 in 1 month. That does not happen. So
TikTok,
and
if you're
that's
listening,
like,
you got to come to the Mastermind just to help support Brock here. You got to be one of their star clients.
And TikTok, if you're listening, I would also like you to get rid of those violations and get my e-commerce privileges back.
What'd you do?
Let me plug that real quick.
Yeah.
Just organic violations. That's still, in my opinion, that's a flaw of TikTok still, is like these violations that I didn't even see, and they stack up. And like, even if you make the fix, or even if you delete the video and you're like, hey, I'm sorry, I won't do that again, they're still like, nope, don't care. You're going to have to go through the jail period. I've been battling that for a while. But yes, we were number 2 in kitchen on TikTok last month.
That's wild. And then TikTok Shops is a big part of your growth
TikTok
as well,
we were
right?
number 2. We were number 2 in kitchen on TikTok Shop. So like, yeah. But it's crazy because like we were above Ninja, Scrub Daddy, like all like these brands that I was like, we should not be above these brands.
Well, get used to it, buddy.
Yeah, we'll take it.
That's pretty effing sweet. And you're saying that the efficiency was a lot higher on TikTok. It makes sense, right? It's like the first true Amazon competitor in some ways, where just the path to purchase is a lot easier.
Yeah, 100%. It's easier. It's also the fact that I can go organically viral, and then I can stack Spark ads on top of that organic, so I can just it's just such an easier way for us, like, to scale, in my opinion, because I'm already pushing the videos over and over again. The sale periods are huge with the subsidies, and just everything that they're doing right now just makes sense from a purchasing standpoint.
Yeah. The violations, less so, but great job on the shops.
Yeah. The violations, the shop's still fine. It was just on my organic, so we're fine, but I'm salty.
Okay. I saw that from Twitter. Got any other hot takes from Twitter or anywhere else? Any hot takes out there?
No, not really. I need to get off of Twitter a little more. D2C Twitter is just it's not valuable.
It's its own little microcosm. I liked your tweet about the brain surgeons like get together and be like, yo, I did this new thing with my scalpel and it's like super good. Like, do they mastermind in the same way that we do? I don't know. They should. I hope so.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, do doctors get on Twitter and talk about this? I don't know. I mean, I love Twitter and LinkedIn for the fact of like just meeting people. Like there's so many people that I've had conversations with that I would have just never, ever met or come across. And it's like every connection's just so freaking valuable. And like there's people that, I got emailed by Liquid Death yesterday, and that was just because they saw me on LinkedIn or Twitter. Like that would have never happened.
That's wild. That could be a pretty sick, they're pretty buzzworthy.
That would be an awesome collab. And I'm fired up for that one.
Super cool. What have been some of your more successful collabs that you've done so far?
You know, we're probably one of the worst collab brands in direct consumer that we don't have. We actually just said this yesterday. We don't have anyone that's like in charge of collabs, and it's like it does take just like persistence, and it's like tedious to get it to the end of the road, and like
totally. We
just have never had someone on it, so therefore we've never really like sought out like, hey, what are some great collaborations for us? Like we've done some small giveaways with like Redcon and some other brands in that space. But yeah, in terms of like actual collabs, I think it's more so who we've sold to. Like we were part of Dr. Pepper's rewards program, which was cool. We were part of Snapple's rewards program, which was really cool. We actually are just about to launch our licensing deal with GM. So that's going to be cool. But yeah, in terms of collabs, like there's nothing that sticks out to me that I'm like, yep, that was a slam dunk for us. And if there is one that I missed, I'm so sorry to the brand that we did it with.
How big of a part of your business is Amazon? I notice you are on Amazon. You're not shying away from that. How big of a part of your business is Amazon?
It's big.
And growing?
Yeah, it's going to grow about 40% this year, probably, which I think is like the healthy number. I don't think you want to go crazy. Because then it just gets tough with a limited team like we run. But yeah,
how big is your team?
Full time? Well, it's tough because we use a lot of like contractors. We use a lot of agency.
Yeah.
But like full time people, we're only rocking with like it's like under 10.
Yeah. Wow.
And then we're just using a lot of like now if you combine everyone, there's probably like 60 people involved.
Yes.
And now that we brought our warehouse and fulfillment in-house, like that's obviously stacking a lot of people. I think we have 12 to 15 in there. But again, like there's like the warehouse and then there's also the business, like what I would say the business people. So I don't ever actually have a good number for that.
Yeah. It's lean though.
Our payroll is not a lot.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way.
And then bringing your fulfillment in-house, was that just a scale issue basically?
No, not even actually. It was just it was more of an efficiency thing. We just started looking at the numbers, and like I said, we're from the Midwest. We're from the middle of nowhere. It's really cheap. Space is cheap. Work is cheap. And so we're like, we also wanted more control over the shipping process. We wanted to be able to, like I said, customer service is a huge thing for us. So like if we screw up, throw in that handwritten note, throw in that extra gift. That's hard to do with a 3PL. And so that was a big piece of it, but then also just like the savings on top, like we've saved a ton just by switching it. And we've been able to, our shipping has been a lot faster because we're in control.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, it was just control. But yeah, Amazon, I can go back to real quick. That's percentage wise. I don't know. Last year Amazon did around 6.5 million, I believe. And so 6.5 on 21. I don't know what that percentage is. But I mean, it's a really, really profitable channel. Like that's a 25% margin channel for us.
Yeah.
And so like,
because it's really focused on your brand. It's really focused on like people looking the product to wear people.
Yeah, because it's such an easy conversion because of how much marketing we're doing off of Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah, my ad spend on Amazon it's just not very much. It doesn't have to be. My Amazon guy is also a rock star. Like I love him to death. And he takes a lot of pressure off of me because he just like I don't do anything with it. I just make sure they're not screwing up the numbers. And so yeah, this year we just added Canada, Amazon Canada. So we'll see what that does now that we like actually got product to Canada. And then we're looking to kind of go international in terms of like the EU and UK and see how that does with Amazon.
I just earlier today recorded a podcast with our Amazon team basically, and they did a test with another brand who's going to be at C-Suite with Four Sigmatic actually. I forget why, but there was a reason why they had to stop some of their products, their ad spending. And they did like a holdout test where they saw the difference in bidding on the brand made versus letting it just go to the number one organic listing. And they did see that there was very little impact by spending a lot on the brand in this particular case. And so they've shifted budget into things like Amazon streaming, like video advertising on Prime, to kind of focus more on top of funnel stuff. So have you done much in TV or in Prime advertising or anything like that?
We have not. We've actually looked at a similar type of deal with that. So I actually need to ask my Amazon guy about that. Which
That's what this podcast is for.
Yeah, exactly. We meet on Thursdays. Nice. So we'll see. But no, we have not done anything in that regard. But I have talked to them about kind of the same thing with the brand versus organic. Like, hey, are we just burning cash? Like when people would still buy. And so we do watch that very closely as well to see like, hey, like, where's that fine line?
Okay, well, this is great. Like, I am super excited. This is the first time we've had a chance to chat. Super excited, though, to have you at C-Suite Mastermind. I think your story and your presence is going to be fantastic there. We haven't discussed this. Do you have any idea what you're going to talk about when you're there? Put you on the spot.
Yeah, I'm a terrible planner, but I will have this planned. I assume a lot of people want to hear about TikTok Shop. I think that's like I think that's the buzzword. I don't know if I haven't looked at who else is invited fully, but I don't know if anyone else will really dive into it. And so that was probably what I'll do the most of, just since I don't do as much of the media buying side. So like, I'm not going to get into that. Like I'm really just on the creative side. So yeah, I think most of it will probably be TikTok Shop, along with I think I'll probably just sprinkle in actually operating the overall business.
Perfect.
And just what I've learned, right? Because scaling to 20 million in 3 years was probably not the best thing in the world. Like we about lost it in 2022 because we hit every challenge and every roadblock, and we we made no money. So with that's come a lot of learning. So I feel like I could probably share a lot of value in just how we've turned the tables to build what I would say we're a pretty profitable machine at this point.
Juggernaut, I think it's called. Yeah. How big can it be? I have two questions. One, can we figure out a deal to do some custom branded D2C C-suite frost buddies?
We can definitely do that.
Okay, let's do that. And then how big? Done. How big is because you look at Yeti, you look at these massive $1 billion businesses. Like how big is your mindset for how big Frost Buddy can be?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the vision guy of the company. My brothers, thank God for them. They're definitely more integrator operator style. And so we've learned that this year that I suck at that stuff. I don't know. Cause yeah, Yeti is $1 billion, even Simple Modern, we look up to them a lot. Like they're massive. I think two plus, Brewmade's big, Corksicle's big. A lot of our competitors in the space are big, Arctic. And so you kind of look at it and go, one, is there room for another 9-figure guy in there? But then I think what we look at is, one, we're just building this with no exit in sight. So that changes. Like we don't really, we're just having fun. Like all of our employees are like our best friends at this point. Like half of them are family and friends. Yeah. So it's just fun when we're profiting. And I think 9 figures is very, very attainable. Like especially with big box, and like we're in no big box. So this is all online. And so that's a big aspect. And I also just think, like I said, our whole vision mission statement is literally creative products and lifelong customers. So like that doesn't have to be drinkware. And so we've built a big enough base and a big enough brand following at this point that like, I'm also looking not just at drinkware anymore. I'm looking at just other options. And that's what Yeti did to really, really break out. And so my sights are set on first 9 figures and then we'll see where we go from there. But like, if we're not profitable every year, then I'm going to be pissed. So like, that's what we're doing first.
I love it. I think that's going to be, that what you've just described there, the, TikTok shops, and then something on that turned that corner to profitability. We had Drew Archeolo come to our 2022 event from Victory Gear. And he basically he talks about it being a bit of a turning point in his brand where he was a mid 7 figures brand making lots of sales, but was not profitable. And then really found that sort of formula to take it to 8 figures and make it really profitable. And I think that's what a lot of brands need to hear, especially heading into these trying economic times we're looking at.
Yeah. It's a lot more fun too. I'll tell you that much. There's a lot. When we did 22 mil or 21 or 18 and 0, that was a lot of sleepless nights. But when you can start to rack up 3, 4, 5 in a year, then it's a lot less stressful. You're like, I don't really care what the top line looks like.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's a lot there. And I mean, honestly, we have, just met over and over again, and we have dialed in every process and every number that we could dial in to say, how do we do this? 'Cause it isn't rocket science. It's just, well, for me, it was an ego driven thing. Like our community talks about top line numbers so much, and no one ever talks about their bottom line number. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like I had a friend that was making 7 off of 13, and I was like, this guy's living the life. Like I'm like, this is what we want, not this crazy top number. So yeah, that's it was really just like the come to Jesus of like, who cares about the ego? Like,
what are we doing this for? We were trying to make some money.
Correct. Like I don't have to, like, out of college. And again, I think it's just maturing in business too. Like out of college, I was like, oh, we're going to do $1 billion in 10 years. Well, okay. When you get into it, you're like, is that even feasible? And like, at what cost is that feasible?
Exactly.
Because am I going to think about the investment I have to take on? Like cash is all of a sudden a consideration. It wasn't possible, but in my mind, I was like, we can do that. And then now it's like, you just know so much more of what you know and what you don't know. And you're just like, okay, what realistically should we do? And then let's go from there. Because going from 10 to 20 to 40 to 80, it might be possible for some brands. And I think maybe with that recurring revenue stream, I would say, like if you have some consumable or subscription, different story. but we're not that, which I could get into that too. Like my next one would be that.
Would be a CPG? Would be it? Your next one would be a CPG brand?
My next one, I think the biggest challenge the biggest challenge that we have is just the compound effect is just not there in terms of drinkware. And so I think just the LTV, getting someone to buy another cup, especially when I'm making an all-in-one cup already, that's like the biggest challenge. And that's why we focused so hard on the backside with the brand, the loyalty, the Facebook group, and the community, because it's like, yeah, I don't have a subscription that they're locked into. I don't have a drink that they're drinking every single week or every day. Like there are certain business models that are just set up to scale faster.
I talk about BioSteel on the podcast a lot. It was big in the hockey world, but it's the electrolyte hydration beverage.
Yeah.
And my LTV is great on that. I'm drinking it I'm drinking it every day for the past year pretty much.
Listen, Ghost loves me because I drink a Ghost every single day. And that is amazing, right? That's what I talk to a lot of like my founder friends about, is just like, man, like the actual business model is something they don't teach you, but it matters so much because your ceiling a lot of times is set, in my opinion, with your business model. Not always, but it certainly changes the dynamic of your challenges.
And it's interesting to hear, as you've created not a silver bullet, but you've created a product that has had amazing product market fit, but even you are looking at it and being like, okay, there are limitations with what we've done here. But there are other ways you can innovate. There's all sorts of other ways that you can innovate with your cooler or with whatever.
And there's also the biggest thing that we've learned too. Like I said, we're not in many big box. The educational piece of this in big box without a video in front of it, without the right explanation, people might just think it's a Yeti. Well, it doesn't do very well then, especially getting stores to represent it the right way, especially big box can be challenging just because the buyer could see it, they could understand, but the store level, that employee just checking in and checking out they're just going to throw it on the shelf. They might not care. Some will do great, some won't. And so we're even re-looking at our entire retail strategy going, okay, how can we take all of our products, keep that uniqueness, but really simplify it for the customer so that when they look at that shelf, they get it. And there's also a price point that we've learned that matters, especially I think this year and the coming however many years.
Which is lower? Like, what is your price? I know we're extending the interview here, but you've come in lower than some other drinkware?
Well, so we are higher. We are higher just because I have that much. I mean, I just believe in the products that much, and I believe that they're better. We're not higher in all, but like this is $39.99. Well, this is actually $44.99 thanks to those royalties. But we'll come down to $39.99. In store, we'll sell it at $29.99 just so that our site can run discounts and stuff like that. The mugs are pretty much matched with all the mugs you'll see, $44.99. And so we're not cheaper than anyone. So we're not battling on price, which I never wanted to be battling on price.
No.
Because that's a race to the bottom and we won't win.
And these products do become people's status symbols in some ways. It's what they're carrying around. It's what they've got on their vacation. Like people are willing to invest in these things because they recognize hydration is so important, or drinking beer or tequila drinks.
We prefer the beer.
Yeah, that's right. I'm gluten. I've gone off beer recently, but I do love those tequila mules.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's turned into fashion. Like, honestly, it's a huge not so much the can cooler. Obviously, at a tailgate, it's a big fashion piece, but like the mug it's such a fashion aspect that we really are treating, like we're launching 3 to 4 colors a month because we're treating it like just we have to stay on trend and we have to get ahead of the trend too. Like now we've been behind and now we're finally to the point where, I'm planning 2025, 2026 going, okay, hey, let's actually get ahead of these other brands. Like, let's see if we can actually be a real competitor here. It is definitely fashion, which is crazy.
Nice, man.
It's a freaking cup.
But yours is form and fashion too, right? Because people see it,
Correct.
They see that it's different from what they've seen out there, right? They see it's doing something a little different, which is a status symbol in and of itself.
And a lot of people want to be like, there's a huge market out there of people that want to be different. There's a huge market that wants the Stanley, and there's a huge market that's like, oh, I do not want to be like all those people. Well, you know what? I'll take all of those people. Still a huge market. Now, I would love to be the trend. Don't get me wrong.
Well, you're getting
But,
there. The sky's the limit for this bad boy. Cannot wait to meet you in person in Victoria in September.
Same.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
First time in Canada. So
here we go. Victoria is going to spoil you, I think, for the rest of Canada. It's such a great place.
I was going to say, I better get a great first Canadian experience because I've heard great things.
That was one of my favorite. That was one of my favorite things about having the last one in 2022 is bringing a bunch of Americans who hadn't been. And people from Belgium came. We had a guy from New Zealand. It's gonna be a badass experience. So man, I'm so super excited you're coming. Thanks for this podcast. Awesome. It was a lot of fun.
Hey, thank you.
If you're out there, you want to keep your drinks cool, you got to go to frostbuddy.com, check it out, or just come to C-Suite. And sounds like we're gonna figure out a way for you to get a Frostbuddy, Universal Frostbuddy at our event. So
we'll bring plenty.
Thanks so much for listening to today's episode. If you're not a subscriber to our newsletter, you can do that right now at directtoconsumer.co. I'm Eric Dick, and this has been the D2C Podcast. We'll see you next time.